What can we learn in reference to the situation that we're going through right now? Crypto winter is real. Hey, this is CeoTrades, where money works for you. Today, we're looking at the crypto markets and seeing what can we learn in reference to what's going on right now in the markets and how can we utilize it so that we can make better investments. Number one is that we are going through a period that has been seen before, several times before. If you saw my previous video, which I will leave a link above on your right, and you can check it out, and it will give you a historical factor on what we have gone through with Bitcoin just in general, and probably some of the other cryptocurrencies that are out there. But Bitcoin is always in a class by itself until it meets with another coin that can handle what it is producing right now. This is just a reality. Where are we right now? We are entering into an inflationary / recessionary period that it seems to be affecting the average person little by little. But there is a new term to be added in here, and I will tell you what it means and how it is referred to on a daily basis. It's called shrinkflation. Shrinkflation. You've seen it at your local Dunkin' Donuts, where they've reduced the size of their cups. You've seen it at Kellogg's, how Kellogg's separated just recently in the past few days into 3 companies. You've seen it where certain car companies are getting ready to become 2 companies, such as Ford and Volvo. They're getting ready to separate their electric vehicle division from their gasoline operated division. These are just some of the things that are going on out there. But also, you've seen in reference to shrinkflation, unemployment numbers are slowly expanding. They are. You've heard Coinbase drop 18%. You've heard Tesla drop a huge number of employees, and so on. This is just the new trend right now because of the recessionary period that we're going through, the inflation that's happening. As things get higher priced, less and less people want to buy. Now, the weird thing is that people are going still out to restaurants. So that means that it still hasn't directly affected every single person out there. There's still a lot of people going to restaurants, a lot of people traveling, a lot of people buying stuff. It's affecting only those of us who are in the lower end of the totem pole, meaning we don't have enough to go around and we don't have enough to cover expenses. Another big thing that's happening with shrinkflation is that there's going to be less food to go around in the next several months as winter kicks in. Between the months of probably October and February, we're going to see a sharp rise in the prices, and it will depend if people start curbing their spending habits. Then we'll see that everything will turn into stagflation, because if people are not buying, then something's got to give. But if the government just keeps raising the interest rates and raising the interest rates and letting inflation keep going higher, we're going to go into a deeper and deeper stagflation. It's going to take longer to get rid of this. The government most probably knows about this, but they're not doing their job in reference to stopping this stagflation from continuing. Now, if you've heard of, there's going to be less credit to go around, less loans. Banks that's the way that they shed their part of a recessionary period. This is showing less loans and credit. People will start to spend less. There's going to be less buying power. Paying back is going to be tougher on families, more bankruptcies, more foreclosures, and so on. Now, Ray Dalio, who points a lot of this information out to me, has made it very clear that we're headed into territory that is not normal in investing periods. Now, we know that there is somewhat of a war with Russia and Ukraine. We don't know exactly the extent of it. If it ended tomorrow, we'd say that gasoline prices will go back to normal very quickly. However, it's not. We know that rice is scarce in certain countries and they've stopped exporting it to other countries. So just be aware that stuff like this is going to become more and more prevalent in the next several months. Ray Dalio's main points in reference to a talk that I that I went over is that nothing that the Feds can do to fight inflation without creating an economic weakness. And that's the reality, that they need to just halt their process and let things take effect so that the prices will eventually come down, and so that eventually we can get back to normal. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. Private credit growth will have to contract due to debt, assets, and liabilities, which are very high as we speak of it. Now, due to government deficits and Fed selling government debt, it's going to be even much tougher. The Feds will most likely take the form of stagflation when the reality kicks in. I mean, they're not going to stop printing money as long as they can attempt to print more money and hand it out to people so that people can spend. Guess who gets all this money? Is the top 5 or 10 companies that are out there, corporations or investment firms that are out there. Is that where you really want to be? Make sure that you're holding off on your spending habits so that you'd have something to go around when this kicks in. If you've invested and your investments are not going the way you want to, hold in there, because it will eventually come back. It might take a few years. I feel sorry if you're in a retirement age. It's going to take a bit longer than what we expect. Some people have lost their earnings. Some people have lost their millions that were invested. This is unfortunate, but you should have planned accordingly with your investment advisor. Remember, I am not your investment advisor. I am not your financial advisor. Always seek professional advice so that you know how to make the best judgment in investing your money. This is CEO Trades, where money works for you. And until tomorrow, we'll look at another session on how to invest in some of the coins that I'm looking to invest in the next several days. But before we go, I just want to let you know that Bitcoin just fell below 20,000 again, and Ethereum is fast approaching 1,000 again. It'll probably hit it tonight. If it does, I might pick up some, because these, although you can't pick the bottom on any of these are good to hold until they reach a specific purpose in your investment practices. Take care, and until tomorrow.